Hello, welcome. Today we're going to have a very interesting workshop. This is the final workshop from our series of workshops. Today we're going to cover some interesting experiences around the world that can give testimony of how active learning works in an environment, in a classroom environment. It's going to be a very interesting workshop. There's going to be some a very, very special guest that we have for today, part of our TOMi Digital team. And we are very happy to be here with you. So stay connected. We start in 1 minute. Okay, welcome one more time, once again, and we're very happy to be here with you for another workshop. This is the fourth workshop, actually the fifth workshop if we count the bonus workshop that we just covered for the last week, in which we had some of you, the users, the already users of the platform TOMi Digital, that were very interesting in terms of creating and using the platform as a tool for introducing technology in the classroom, active methodologies, just a way to engage students into being part of the learning process. And today we have a very special guest. It's a very good friend of mine, Mr. Alejandro Roldan. Alejandro, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Luis. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here with a lot of teachers from different countries, Zambia, Cameroon, Somaliland. Hello, Numagogu. Great to see you're here with us. I'm super happy and open to discuss different cases, successful cases around the idea of active learning methodologies and obviously intercultural skills.
Yes, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Alejandro is a very experienced person in terms of education and very especially in terms of global education. So he has a very direct experience with different means or different ways of understanding active learning, learner-centered teaching, active methodologies, and other current approaches in education around the world, not only in Latin America, not only in America, but also in different continents. So he's here to tell us a little bit and to share with us some of his knowledge about how this is working around the world. But before we get to that, let me just remind you of how we have been working with this workshop. Not without telling you beforehand that although this is the fourth and final workshop from this first series of workshops, this is definitely not the last time that you're going to be hearing from us. We're going to continue working in terms of giving you ideas, in terms of bringing these type of strategies to you. And actually, I'm going to continue working with Alejandro hand to hand, because we want to create now some meetings that are going to be a little bit more advanced in terms of education. We're going to try and bring very special guests from around the globe, which have been inserted in education, and have been inserted in introducing new paradigms in education around the world. So we're going to continue inviting you, this very, very welcoming group of teachers in Africa, to join us for different master classes that we're going to be carrying out along the way. We're planning the first one to this year, before this year's end. This year ends, we're going to have the first master class with a very special guest, and we're going to continue working on that. Also, similar to what happened with our first bonus workshop, we want you to make part of the TOMi Digital community. So we want you to go ahead and try our products, our digital platform, specially designed for teachers, TOMi Digital, in which you're going to be able to create your lessons or create activities to use with your students by means of the ICT, and including some gadgets or devices that your students carry with them, or devices that are some institutions, for example, have tablets for education, or laptops, or a computer's room. So anything is good, and we're going to try and help you use this platform in a way that really enhances your abilities as teachers, your skills, your innovative skills as teachers. So but that's going to come in the future. For the moment, let me just remind you that along this series of workshops, we have been covering different questions that are inserted in our ebook, the one that I'm going to be sharing just right now. Just 1 second. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to use Alejandro just as a way to introduce this ebook and tell him a little bit of how we have been working. So this is the ebook for this series of workshops. This is an ebook that everybody here already has in their hands, well, in their laptops, in their screens, in which we try to compile the most important information covered within these sessions. So basically, the organization corresponds to 4 different questions. The first one was, why implement this paradigm? When we talk about the paradigm, we refer to learner-centered teaching. Okay, so we're talking about the implementation of learner-centered teaching. So why implement this paradigm? If we go there, actually, let me ask you that question, Alejandro, in a very broad manner. What do you think are good reasons to implement learner-centered teaching?
Well, it's a very good question because actually it's an urgency in my point of view, because we must understand that it's not anymore the focus to be a really good delivery of information, but you must understand that we in the classroom we have the opportunity to enhance the learning process of the students, and even teachers to be lifelong learners is the new way that we must understand educational systems. So why is important? Because we are facing global challenges. We must train ourselves as a global citizens, and in that way we must be more responsible and more focused to have our decisions and the responsibility to learn more, better, and deeper. So learner-centered teaching is an approach that changed the way that we understood in the previous age education center of teaching. And so right now we must center our attention and our efforts to learn better, easier, faster, and flexible.
And more flexible. Well, there was a quote that we visited at some point at this series of workshops, Alejandro, that said, like, once you, as a teacher, once you remove yourself from the center and you place the student in the center, you're going to realize that then, and only then, you're going to be the center for the student. So that is when the student is going to realize that he has responsibilities, that he has to be an active part of the learning process, and he's going to start looking for a guide, a facilitator, and even a coach to help them continue in the process. So once you remove yourself and you place the student there in the center of education, you're going to become the center for the student. And
Totally.
that's definitely something that we want to feel, right?
Yeah.
All right, the second question, let me just show you a little bit of what we have here. This is for you and also for all the audience so that we revisit this ebook and remember everything that we have learned here. Um, no, I want to tell you before that there's already 20 people online, a lot of people from Africa visiting us and watching us live. That's definitely something that we appreciate very much. So in terms of implementing the paradigm, we understand the students develop life skills and competences with this approach. There's a special emphasis in creativity. We have a special use of the HOTS, which is high order thinking skills. We learn what to do when you don't know what to do. That's something that we also visited at some point in the workshops.
Hmm.
There's a better school climate, the classroom dynamics change, the classroom layout, the organization of the objects, the elements and spaces in the classroom change, and there are more meaningful experiences. The teaching dynamics change because now you can get on board cross-curricular and interdisciplinary approaches, working with teachers from other subjects, working with teachers from other places also, and giving this a sense of collaboration, which is a very key element, a key concept in the whole approach. Uh, Team teaching also understanding teaching as not as an individual process in terms of subjects, but also as a process that can be delivered in terms of a team. All right, mathematics and art can be combined. Science and sports can be combined in a
Totally.
very easy manner. What do you think of that?
Yeah, totally, totally. Actually, I was thinking music and mathematics, for example, or I was talking with my son because I have a 9 years old son, and he is really into soccer right now, just after the World Cup, and we have been learning a lot of geography through soccer, because the World Cup is a great excuse to talk about flags, about cultures, countries, different customs, even because in the World Cup you can find people from everywhere, different approaches, different ideas, and that's really I enjoy a lot to talk with my son about sports and geography together.
Yes, and you keep it updated. You keep updated because we tend to think that in the rest of the world as history, but we never understand that the world moves at the same path and sometimes
Totally.
even faster.
Mhm.
That's
Exactly.
true. All right, we make the content pertinent and relevant and meaningful. By means of changing the approach, you are making the content, the information, the knowledge that you are delivering to be pertinent because they need it to solve the tasks or to solve the challenges. Relevant because it's exactly what they are looking for in specific moments or because it connects to their interests or passion, and meaningful because it makes sense. It makes sense to learn whatever you are learning. So
Totally.
those are all good reasons why implementing this paradigm. There's a little more information for you there. Just follow the link of the question why implement this paradigm, and you will see a lot of interesting elements there. The second question was who is responsible of this implementation? Who's responsible of this implementation? Who do you think is responsible for this implementation, Alejandro?
Oh, Luis, I think everyone involved in the school. I think it's not just the teacher. Obviously, the teacher is the leader, the champion of the paradigm. But when we are talking about learning center teaching, you must have the effort and the will of the directors, coordinators, even when you work in active learning, and we will see it in later, you could have the community around you to help you to work with different contents, different experiences, companies to work with them. So yeah, who is responsible? Yeah, the teacher is the leader, but for sure he will need more efforts and help.
Uh, what we found in our study is that teachers are definitely a big portion of it. They are the stars in the process of implementing this new paradigm in education. By the way, I just want to say hello to almost everyone here. That people that are watching us right now live are from Africa. Most of them are from Ghana, where we have a very big community already. TOMi Digital is very strong in Ghana, and we have a big community of teachers there that believe in our efforts and want to make part of this paradigm change, or of kind of, you could call it a movement, in terms of that we want to push new elements into education, elements that we consider necessary and game changers, right? So also the students, we understood, or we analyzed that students need to be aware that they need to change their roles again as well. Okay, it's not only the teacher who changes the roles, but also the student, because the student is actually the one who's going to be more active. So we are taking students from a very passive era, from a very passive attitude, towards a more active. They are also part of the process. They can propose topics, they can propose ideas, they can propose tasks or challenges to solve. So they are definitely a big part of that. And also the combination between teachers and students is something that becomes a different entity, right? And finally, we talked about parents and government in general. All right, but when we say government, we are actually referring to the people that are creating the policies, for example, the people that are studying the context in order to define the topics and the way that we are going to approach the topics, the thematics that we're going to be covering within the different courses. People who understand the education as a system, and that brings that system to every single person in the country. So we need them as well. We need them to be part of that. And when we discussed about the parents, Alejandro, we also recognize that the parents need to be aware that there's a different way of approaching education. Mostly, we found that the teachers agreed with that, mostly in terms of evaluation, because parents are afraid that the evaluation is different to the evaluation that they had and that we had in the past, in terms of measuring. But now evaluation is different. Evaluation is formative. Evaluation is part assessment more than evaluation is part of the learning process. What do you think of that?
Totally, totally. I believe that this is one of the biggest challenges right now in our era, to change the traditional evaluation with just academic performance and assistance, and to involve them inside of the evaluation other kind of variables, and also to co-evaluate the learning experience. Because it's not to the idea is not to put just a number inside of the head of a student. Right now is to give them the opportunity to understand why is that number, or why is that evaluation, but mostly to understand the evaluation as as inside of the learning process. To reflect about it, and also to understand it's not a number for the student, it's a number for an asset, or an activity. And because in the traditional way, I remember a lot the red pencil, giving me a bad number and saying, okay, you're wrong. And that's really
You don't
aggressive
know.
way. Yeah, exactly, because you identify with this red number, like a big zero. I remember big zeros in my exams, in examinations. That was really shocking, because I felt a bad student, a bad person. So we must separate the evaluation, the numbers, and that kind of ideas of red pencils and things to, as you mentioned, a formative evaluation, a formative assessment. It's completely different. You must understand as a teacher and a student that the number is not for you, it's for the performance or the activity. But you must understand, at the end of that evaluation, what do you learn with that? What do you learn?
Yeah, we talk about the importance of feedback as well.
Totally.
How feedback can replace numbers or measures or measurements, and also how important it is to know what you know. Like students need to know what they know, right?
Mhm.
Not only know, but also understand that they know that, right?
Meta,
And they can
yeah,
use it for other purposes.
it's a metacognitive activity. You know that or you understand what you're doing. Understand. So that's kind of things.
There you go. All right. After that, this is more like a question from the teachers. We were putting ourselves in the shoes of the teachers, and the question was, so how can this paradigm be implemented? How can I take this paradigm and take it to my classrooms? So first, something that is very important is to understand that this paradigm, the learner-centered education, or the active learning paradigm, is not really a new thing. It's not new. I was actually, we did a very interesting exercise in which I asked the teachers, try and remember that teacher and that specific lesson that you're never going to forget in high school or in primary school. And that could have been ages ago. That could have been 10 or more years, or even 20 years ago. But if you remember that, it's because it was meaningful for you, it meant a lot to you, and you learned in the manner that we want every student today to learn. And basically, we visited some specific elements here, starting from the elements in your classroom. So, what are those elements that we should have? We talked a lot about technology. What's your stand in technology, Alejandro? Technology in the classroom. What do you think of that?
I think as any tool could be really useful when you understand and understand and you can use it in a good way. Sometimes it's not. When you talk about technology, we must put the last name digital technologies, because a pencil is a technology, a book is a technology. So yeah, the classroom is full of technology, but digital technology could give you the opportunity to connect with others, have a wider opportunities of information and data, and also really fun and interactive experiences. So digital technologies are is something that we must embrace, but embrace in a way, in a critical way, in a good way, in understanding how we could use it, how we could use it in a smart way, and also how we could hack even. I love the idea to have more hackers, teachers hackers, using technology in different ways. No, in that's this, I think, the next step of the teachers with the new technologies like AI and IoT or blockchain around us. We must understand how powerful tools are, and we must discuss even the the ethics, the principle ethics behind that. Okay.
That's a very interesting topic, definitely very deep, and something that those are the type of topics that we want to bring to you in the next meetings, in the next strategies that we're going to be delivering to the community in Africa. Another interesting element was the analysis of the concept of changing the paradigm. So, what is a paradigm, and what would be to change the paradigm? And for that, we just visited papers and works that other people have been doing. For example, the UNESCO's 21st Century Skills, in which we, in terms of education, because this is not only focused in education, but it's very used in education at a time, at the moment. Specific concepts such as collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity in how they become the key concepts to understand the changing of the paradigm in education. Also, how new realities such as COVID and lockdown in the in our recent global history, how they brought a new meaning to the word globalization. We understood globalization very differently before and after the COVID, definitely.
Totally.
Online education, maybe partly in terms of what happened during the lockdown and the pandemic, and how online education is probably going to be more and more common every time, every year, and probably finally it's going to become the most important type of education in the future. And we need to be prepared for that. We need to understand that that is probably going to happen, and we're always, as teachers, we're always looking forward. We're always trying to see what's coming next. Also, there are all the new realities, the newer realities. For example, artificial newer ICT. For example, the artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
and all the integration of artificial intelligence in platforms and tools, and how knowing and learning about artificial intelligence becomes necessary for us teachers in order to be able to, as you say, hack the technology and move it towards education.
Totally, totally. Actually, I love that you are using the word hack because the system, educational system, is. I believe that we must hack the system in that way. No, and active learning is a hack. This change of paradigm is a way that we could hack. Changing the role of the teacher, changing the role of the students, using new technologies, embracing what is happening with AI actually in this moment. From February to now, in this year, ChatGPT and BART and a lot of new tools around the schools are doing craziness. Most of the teachers are saying, okay, this is crazy. We are in a crazy world. But for sure, most of them are understanding how it could useful could be in the time. And when you are in an active learning paradigm, you could change your role and put into the hands of the students some more questions than answers. So I believe this is the time of to create good questions and create good excuse or challenges or problems or projects for the students to solve with any tool that we could have in our hands. Obviously, digital tools like AI.
Good. All right. As you can see, Alejandro's an idealist. Is an idealist in education. Well, in the presentation,
Optimist. I'm so optimist, my friend. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's part of my
yes,
job. I think education must be optimist.
it is true. It is true. We have to be definitely have to be optimistic about the future in terms of
Yeah.
bringing good education. There's more information here, so definitely I would like you to just go ahead and see all the different elements that we have been preparing for you in this ebook, which is also a very beautiful one, something that we feel very proud of. And finally, we come to the final question, which is today's question. And that question is, when should this paradigm be implemented? When when do you, teachers, think this paradigm should be implemented? So the question for us is, I have a good friend that when he gets a good question, he says, "That's a very nice question. What do you think?" It's always like that. So I'm gonna try the same, I'm gonna say, so that's definitely a very good question, teachers. So now, what do you think? When do you think is a good moment to implement this paradigm? And I would have to say that I believe that most teachers are already moving towards this new paradigm, the implementation of this new paradigm. We understand that education belongs to the culture. It's attached to the culture in a very close manner, and culture is low in terms of changes, and definitely in terms of such big changes such as this paradigm change. So the question is, when we say the question when, it comes back to the question how and the question why and the question who, right? But I think this is definitely a very good question to finish up, to close this first part of workshops. And and that's why we brought Alejandro here to talk about what is happening around the world in terms of the implementation of new paradigm. So in a moment, Alejandro is going to tell us what other people are already doing. So they already answered to this question, and the answer was today. All right. When should we implement this paradigm? The answer was today, and even for some of them, yesterday, right? Because they have already moved a long way in terms of this implementation. But the interesting thing is that Alejandro is going to show us not only the strategy, but also results. What happens when these teachers take responsibility for their actions, and they take their projects to a different level, to a higher level, and they start impacting the society very positively with very interesting and sometimes even crazy ideas. But that's gonna come in a moment. Before we move to that, I just want to remind you that every one of these workshops is going to give you a certificate of attendance. So it's just a matter of for you to register in this attendance. And if you attended all 4 workshops, I'm also going to give you a certificate, a big certificate for amount of hours that we have been covering here. So it's close to 10 hours that we have been giving here. It's endorsed by TOMi Digital. And it's something that I know that most of you appreciate in terms of recognition, in terms of knowing that you have done something for your professionalization process, all right? That you're doing something to be better and to be a better teacher and to bring your education to a different level. So that's something that is going to come in a moment. I'm going to be sharing with you the link so that you can mark your attendance to this workshop and then receive the diploma for the certificate for attendance. Also, there's going to be a dashboard that we are analyzing, and we are going to use this information for the people who are creating lessons with us, that are presenting our lessons in their classrooms, and we're going to make sure we're going to get to them, invite them to training processes, and we're going to also help them get to more students by the use of some specific gifts. But for us, it's more like a recognition for their work. So we're going to be making sure that they get probably one of these, which is our star device. This is the TOMi 7. And it's a device that it's like a computer. It's an assistant computer, and it's very portable. As you can say, it can be brought to your classroom with no big efforts. It's definitely lighter than a laptop. And basically here you can store information, you can store content or resources that you want to share with your students. But also by means of a projector, you can make this into a digital whiteboard, so you can use it with a optical stylus that you can it can help you, or it can give you the possibility to interact with the projection as if it was a normal whiteboard. It also has some specific functionalities or features, such as taking attendance. You can mark tests, simple multiple choice tests automatically with this device. Mm-hmm. And I think the most important is that you can create an intranet, like a Wi-Fi network that is available everywhere. You do not need to have connectivity. You can be in a very far away place, and it creates its own Wi-Fi network. And using that Wi-Fi network, you can transmit and you can share resources with your students, and they're going to receive them in their devices, tablet or computers or smartphones, whatever. So definitely a very interesting way to bring innovation to the classroom. So if you are here and you're interested, just make sure that you are creating lessons, that you are presenting your lesson, that you're using TOMi Digital. And if you do not know how to use it, make sure that you join the community in Telegram, and or write directly to us and say, I want to learn more. And we're going to make sure to create those workshops, specific workshops for you. Okay,
Please
before we continue, yes, Alejandro, go ahead.
let me add something because first we have here a vibrant community talking and commenting. Nomagugu say, yeah, true. We come from teacher-centered environment and then go into traditional universities. Yeah, it's true. We come from traditional. That's why we must change this paradigm. And really connected and related with to your comment about TOMi Digital, the device, is them say from Ghana said, I believe education in its form today needs to be upgraded, effective immediately. So this is a sense of urgency, that I love that. I love that we are into the change, we are embracing the change, and we are flexible. But he mentioned something really important. But the necessary tools are and equipment must be made available for teachers' use. So as you mentioned, this TOMi device is available, is portable, and is closing the gap, the connection gap in our rural areas mostly. We have been working in several countries. I will show you a map later, but we have been working in several countries without the internet, creating amazing learning experiences through this device.
Thank you very much, Nomagugu, for your thoughts. We welcome everyone who wants to share their thoughts because this is like a closure moment. So we definitely want to hear more from you. For example, here Eden says, "I believe education in its form today needs to be upgraded, effective immediately." That's what you were mentioning before.
Yeah.
Also. I know from other guests, from other special guests, the ones that we have had in the past workshops, that they are doing their part. We had, for example, this experience from teacher Abdul Fatah in Tamale, it's a city in Ghana, and he is not only the head of professors, the head of teacher in its institution, in their institution, but it's also the co-founder of a library, a public library in the community. So we want to know about that. We really, really are interested in knowing a little bit more about your experience, the context in Africa, the specific context in different countries and regions in Africa, because something that we have learned is that one thing is to talk about Ghana North, Ghana South, and also to talk about Zambia, which is pretty much on the other side of the continent. And it's definitely very different to talk about Morocco, for example, and South Africa. So we understand Africa as a very diverse continent, something very similar to what happens with Latin America. And that is part of this intercultural feeling that we want to give to these strategies that we are bringing to Ghana, to Africa. I also want to let you know that we are very soon going to be in Asia. We are doing some efforts to start a series of workshops in Philippines specifically. And we would love to have a very intercultural and diverse community so we can talk about how we understand education in different parts of the world. Over here in USA, which is a very it's like a friend of TOMi already because it's been here for all the workshops probably. They say the new paradigm is a necessity and everyone must see it as such. The challenge has to do with the infrastructure. Very true. That's definitely one of the things that it's most difficult to analyze and to bring about. Some teachers do not have a common laptop for basic activities like typing. What do you think, Alejandro?
Yeah, it's a global challenge actually, to deliver the right technology into the classroom, into the hands of the teachers. I believe that's why I'm so proud to be part of this TOMi team, because this is our purpose. Uh, Design the right device for teachers around the world, as you mentioned, not just in Africa, but also in Asia, in Europe, in South America, and to be actually a global platform, as you mentioned, a global community of teachers thinking together, connecting and inspiring together. I believe in two different drivers, and is one is inspiration. I believe that classroom must be a place to inspire a lot of minds, not just the student's mind, but also the teacher, and also connect. Idea the classroom must be connected to the world, to the real world. So both of them are drivers in here in TOMi. So the question you mentioned is pretty important, and it's a global challenge. We don't have an answer. We are creating an answer through this device and these platforms, but we are open to understand with you more of your challenges, daily challenges, to redefine and redesign our TOMi device. The idea is we don't have ending product. We have a good, really good product, but we are all the time we are improving and improving. And all of your feedback, all the insight that you could share with us will be more than appreciated.
All right. So right now, Alejandro, I just want to give way to you. I know that you have some interesting experiences that you want to share with us. I'm really looking forward to hear from those experiences, and just let us know everything related to these experiences, and how do you think? I mean, some of these experiences are going to seem very crazy for some of us, right? But I want you to be able to bring it down. You know, like it's that crazy, but it doesn't have to be there. It can be just here or here, depending on the context, the different contexts around the world. So
Yeah,
please go ahead.
yeah, but
The
Luis,
audience is yours.
that gave me a great excuse to introduce myself again, because you're talking about craziness, and actually I'm a psychologist. So I've been working in education during the last 18 years, in social projects with communities around the city, my city, Medellin, Colombia, also in other places in Colombia and Latin America, and have the opportunity to travel around the world, understanding the daily challenges of a lot of teachers, and from pre-K to higher education. So I define myself as enthusiastic, passion for innovation in education, because I believe that innovation must have uh, a room in the classroom. So could you help me with the presentation, my friend? Thank you, man. So yeah, as I mentioned, I will share with you some success cases in active learning paradigm. But before to jump into the cases, I must highlight. I want to share with you some reflections, some key concepts, and then we will jump into those concepts. As I mentioned before, as a TOMi Digital company, we start here in Colombia, but with a vision of global impact. So we have been working from US to Argentina, in all America, in Nigeria, in South Africa, in India, and at this moment we have more than 22,000 teachers connected here in the platform. So um, something that I really enjoy to be here in the TOMi company is the opportunity to have these exchanges, this opportunity to share with teachers from Zambia, Kenya, Ghana, Somaliland, uh, from everywhere. So this is a beautiful opportunity to create a bridge between Africa and South America through the brilliant minds of the teachers. So active learning, but this is a new perspective. We have been talking about that, and at least three pillars, really important pillars to understand the real impact in the classroom. The first pillar is this intentional engagement. I love the intentional engagement when you define it as hands-on activities. Not anymore a teacher delivering information and the students receiving and just taking notes in a book. Right now, we could have a lot of experiments. STEM education, for example, have been an amazing excuse to connect different disciplines. As you mentioned before, Luis, you could work, for example, physics with sports, with a soccer ball or a baseball ball. You can have a lot of practices and give them in their hands to the students the opportunity to feel, to be engaged, to connect with that. Also, a purposeful observation, not just to be focused on the content or the data or no or the lecture of the teacher, but with purpose. When you talk about active learning, for example, like PBL, project based learning, or challenge based learning, you understand that you are trying to solve something, to understand the challenge better than others and try to add value in the solution. So a purposeful observation is not to be just there connected, but also with a lens of purpose. And obviously, after that, after the intentional engagement with hands-on activities and a purposeful observation, you must be reflective. You must reflect about uh, the amount of information you collect, the knowledge that you think or you understood, and also in a critical way. Critical thinking is one of the most important skills in this 21st century. Why? We are surrounded of a humongous amount of information. When you start searching Google, you could find thousands and thousands of web pages and from all over the world with a lot of information. But which is good information and which one is bad information? What kind of information you could use or not? Critical thinking and critical reflection will help us a lot. So those are the three pillars of this new perspective: intentional engagement, purposeful observation, and critical reflection. Again, the question is why active learning? I've been thinking a lot and discussing a lot with several teachers around the world why we must do this. Um, from this attitude to be passive, a recipient of knowledge, and to be I don't know, well behaved inside of the classroom was the idea. The shape of a well behaved student was like a silent and focused student. Right now you must have the voice. You must give them the voice to 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 have more questions and to connect with others. So from passive students to a solver's attitude. I love the idea to understand the classroom like a powerful developing tool inside of the schools. Can you imagine if we could inspire those brains and gave them a challenge or a problem to become a solvers? if we could have more solvers and less students in the way that they are preparing themselves, training themselves to face or to help us to face the global challenges. So several papers I'm saying, I'm showing that to improve active learning could improve the engagement and motivation. Again, because critical thinking and problem solving skills are super important in this framework. Active learning has also been found to be effective in improving students' performance and retention rates. You mentioned something, Luis, super important: the meaningful knowledge. When you, as a student, believe that the information that the teacher is giving me or the lesson is giving me could be useful for me, for my family, for my community, you as a student will be there, and we will be connect and engaged with these activities. And obviously, it's important active learning to share that the diversity, diverse backgrounds in the classroom could interact and open and share through the hands-on activities in the active learning approach. Next slide, please. So just to put into your hands, so key concept, you mentioned something really cool. This is not a new paradigm. I think this paradigm have more than a century. Uh, this is based on the constructivism approach, the philosophy from the constructivism. John Dewey uh, give us this concept. Experiential learning was the core of this idea of constructivism. And why? Because uh, in active learning, we believe that to have the sense of the things, the feeling, to engage emotionally, and obviously with our sense, uh, is the best way to start a learning process. But then discovery learning is even uh, better in the way that you will have a new emotions, the sense of you are discovering something. That is beautiful when you understand, and also you feel like you have the capability to discover different things. We have been talking about student-centered learning. Carl Rogers, psychologist, he he wrote a lot about that in the need that we have to change from teacher-centered to student-centered in a way that students must be responsible even of their own learning path. And again, problem solving and critical thinking, both important skills in this time, but are the basics of active learning approach. So we could start with the first case. I met this African Institute of Mathematical Science there in Doha in Qatar, 2021. They are amazing. They are, and something that I really enjoy of the narrative that they have is the vision. In active learning, we talk about connection and inspiration again. So how you could inspire your students to be better, to be more engaged with the real world. I love the sentence that they say: "We believe the next Einstein will be African." This is a huge network. And also they use mathematical to understand and to address global challenges. You can read it here. AIMS is incubating mathematical science to address global challenges, not just to be a better math teacher in the time, but also to use mathematical in order to solve those challenges. CAS School Network. So from South Africa in Ames to San Antonio, Texas to CAS Schools. CAS Schools is a interesting network, and they have 6 different schools there in San Antonio. And again, in an active learning approach, they understood that they need to open the conversation with the private sector, the workforce demand. I've been seeing a lot of discussions about it, the differentiation, but this gap between educational system, pre-K, 12 or 11 here in Latam, and the workforce is huge. And we must create bonds between both sides. And CAS School designed their own curriculum based on the demand of the workforce there in San Antonio. They understood in the first school, Advanced Learning Academy, they understood something interesting in how we could work with our gifted students. Right now in the world, uh, we don't have the enough attention and enough programs to attend the gifted students in our classrooms. So we're having a lot of bored brains inside of this classroom. The second school is CAS Tech. They use computers and they have been working in digital skills in order to deliver more and better computer scientists for the workforce. The third one is CastMed because they have a lot of hospitals there and they need a lot of nurses and doctors. So this high school is focused in the developing skills in the health industry. And they have 3 more: CAS STEM to uh, advanced manufacturing and global logistics, CAS Teach because they understood the lack of teachers in the US and other places. So they have a intensive training program for teachers, and CAS Lead to enhance the skills in leadership in different industries, hospitality, tourism, and others. She is Jean Russell, my friend. She is the leader of this network. She is the spirit even in this connection between the schools and the private sector. And she has been leading this network during the last 10 years, inspiring teachers and company builders to talk and to work together. P-Tech is another case, a successful case. You can see in this picture a lot of elements. Rashid, the principal, the guy in the middle, um, he runs the first P-Tech. Right now, IBM have more than 70 around the world, even in Morocco. But P-Tech is an interesting model to not just increase the digital skills with mm, different hands-on activities and connection with the big tech companies like IBM, but also they understood that if you could develop some skills like in programming and coding, you could be a part of a big tech like IBM. So at the end of the high school, the big tech students could apply or that industry. So in a big tech school, the students earn high school diploma and industry recognized this associate degree. So both things are really useful for those students and their families in a way that they could at the end of the high school could have a really good job in a really good company. And you can see in the picture billboards with the face of the students. I enjoy a lot when I was walking through the hall there in Harlem in New York with Rajid, and I saw a lot of those pictures with the name of the students, because something really important in active learning too is recognize the and Luis mentioned the give them the feedback. So the hall was full of those faces uh, of the students who finish the degree, the academic degree, and they are working right now in IBM. So this is, in my point of view, a really successful case, because not just increase the quality of education, but connect with the workforce too. High Tech High is one of the most well-known models in the world. I don't know if you know about it, but High Tech High starts like a small school there in San Diego, California. Um, they work with PBL. The project-based learning is the core of their methodology, with those four pillars. They work with and the idea to have equity in the selection of the students. They are open to different backgrounds, students from different backgrounds, different cultures. They work really hard to personalize with the data, personalize the learning path of each one of the students, and they are connected with those big companies there in California. So they work in authentic work. Again, connected with companies and a collaborative design. They co-create designs not just for the school, even for some challenges from different companies. I saw them designing the new sneaker, the new shoes, the new kind of bag. So they co-design with students and designers from different companies. So High Tech High is a really interesting experience. I want to share with you a short video of his founder, because the his words are really valuable in order to understand the purpose of the high tech. Please share with us.
When I was a young man and was a carpenter, I was working in a settlement house, and there were students who, after school, started coming upstairs, and I started showing them how to use tools. And the gentleman who ran the organization said to me one day, "You know, you should be working with children." And I never thought about that before. And that night, I looked in the mirror and said to myself, he's right. And I have been ever since. Early on, after college, I taught carpentry to inner city children in Boston. I worked in one of the oldest high schools in America, in which there was a 5-story building, and the wealthiest students were on the top floor, and the least wealthy were on the bottom floor. The students on the 5th floor were doing sophisticated work, and my carpentry students on the 1st floor were not. So I made sure that they were doing even more sophisticated work than the students upstairs. What struck me so strongly was that these kids who really didn't have much opportunity were so super intelligent, and all you needed to do was give them the confidence that they could really do it. And then they rose to that level. I saw that happen time after time. So I learned the benefit of integrating academic and technical education. There were some people in San Diego who wanted to bring in a broader spectrum of have-nots into the tech sector, and they had an idea that maybe they should create a school called High Tech High School. And I said, I would love to try that, but can I take the word school off it? And they said, sure. That's how High Tech High got started. Students are 72% of color, they are 13% special needs, and they are 97% college going. We were really strongly committed that we were going to have both, all students would learn very rich, deep academics. All students would have technical training at a very sophisticated level. Project-based learning is absolutely central to the core of what we do. It's an opportunity for students to create new knowledge by writing a book, sending up a rocket, presenting their work on a regular basis to the public who would come in to see what they were doing. And they love it. And it makes them want to come back to school the next day. In a sense, the trick is to get students drawn into the thing that they really have passion about, and you slip in the math, you slip in the writing, you slip in all those types of pieces, and they don't even notice that you've drawn them in that way because they have so much passion. My hope for the future of education and students is fundamental fairness for all of them. We have to take advantage of the brilliance of young people. They tend to be underappreciated in schools. We shouldn't do that anymore.
Again, I believe that those words from Larry Rosenstock, the founder of high tech, are really, for me, is a fount of inspiration. He's a wise guy. He's a person to really engage with the idea of change the paradigm in our world and understand the amount of talent that we have there in the classroom is incredible, no? And sadly, we we don't enhance them or we don't connect them with some challenges. That's why High Tech High is one of the most well-known models in the world. This is a bit crazy, as you mentioned, Luis. I love the idea of PBLs, project-based learning, and challenge-based learning and things. But when I saw zombie-based learning, I was like, "Oh my God, this is another crazy teacher. What is happening with him?" David Hunter, the founder of this idea, in my point of view, is a brilliant idea. Understood the power of narratives, storytellers. When you feel like really you're doing a really good job inside of the classroom, is because you are a really good storyteller. Even in science, in maths, whatever, you must share a good story for the students. You know, this is the basic in our humanity. So David Hunter, he had as a big challenge to uh, teach geography in third grade and seventh grade in a public school in US, and first time was a disaster. So he designed this graphic novel with this small zombie, green zombie, uh, and create a whole narrative to survive an apocalypse zombie, and how the knowledge of geography could help you. So that was meaningful for the students, you know, because, yeah, uh, thankfully we are not in an apocalypse zombie, but the situation was interesting for them, and so that was they played the role. They enjoy a lot, and actually he is well known right now. David Hunter, you can find it. Zombie based learning program is a really interesting approach for active learning. This one is a bit crazy too. This My friend Stephen Ritz is a champion of nutrition inside of the classrooms. Sometimes we forget that the idea of learning and education is so complex that even we need to understand um, what kind of nutrition, what kind of food your students are receiving and having in their schools. And so he saw a big problem inside of the schools in there in Bronx, in New York. And he is a science teacher. I met him in 2019 there in Doha too, in WISE, in the World Innovation Summit for Education. I was mesmerized with his presentation because he is full of energy, and he say is because he changed a lot the way that his relationship with food and nutrition. So he's changing a lot the classroom. The classroom becomes more like a farm, full of vegetables, full of animals. You could enjoy a lot inside of a big old building there in Bronx. You could see a lot of green, beautiful plants there. So let me share with you this short video just to give you a look of what means to be a crazy champion of nutrition in education.
Welcome to my class, students.
Hi, Mr. Ritz. Hello, Mr. Ritz.
Ahoy, Mr. Ritz.
Hi, Mr. Ritz.
Hi, Mr. Met. Jason Latimer, the world champion of magic. I wonder, what is a seed? Are there any dinosaurs living today? Why doesn't the big blue whale have any gills? What are those two moose doing? I have so many more questions. Let's go. Whoa. Where are we? Big Blue is the length of 3 whole school buses or 1 basketball court.
That's so cool.
This Titanosaur is 122 feet long. Can you imagine a tree that big? Leslie, are you home? Big word alert. Step right, step left. I'm doing it, Mr. Met, I'm doing it. E-I-E-I-O.
See you next time, students.
As you saw, this guy playing roles and having fun. So active learning is another invitation to have fun inside the classroom, to deliver good stories and opportunities to solve real challenges and connect with the real world. The last case, as we mentioned, music is part of us as a humanity, as a human being. We must understand that the music could be a great excuse to learn anything we want to learn. And Chris Emdin, the leader of this movement, I believe, named Hip Hop Ed, is doing something different. He's a science teacher too. Chris Emdin, he grew up there in Bronx, but he shared with other schools and other districts there in New York this competence, and he invited the students to write hip hop lyrics, but to share, for example, concepts like DNA or solar systems or this kind of thing. So he is also a dancer and a musician, and he believes that the STEM education, active learning, could use the music to inspire, to connect the students with different learning experience, and again, learning through music and fun. Let me share you the last video, and we could discuss later.
I'm a physicist, lyricist, spitting this ridiculousness, so witness the ignorance I dismiss. Newton's laws of motion is the topic of the course, because things in motion stay in motion unless they hit an unbalanced force. Well, next up's the second law of situation and summation. Force equals mass times acceleration. That's the second law Newton foresaw, so if you want more, then the third law is in store. My name is Christopher Emdin. I'm a science educator. We spit bars, we spit lyrics, but we also drop science and drop science facts, and then bring that to young people. If somebody were to take hip hop away from me tomorrow, I couldn't breathe. Hip hop is everything, man. I mean, hip hop is pedagogy in motion. You go to any rap concert, the way the person who's on that stage has a command over that audience is almost the exact same way that you want a teacher to be able to sort of hold the students in their hand and make them learn. The call and response, the frenetic energy that builds up to this crescendo, the aha moments, all those things are what you want to see happening in the classroom. So hip hop gives us the perfect pedagogical model. Youth are always in search of something to sort of strike them in a way that makes them see that there are new possibilities for life. You know, I work with kids who are from very, very low socioeconomic status, high incarceration rate communities. And so they're just looking for an outlet. And they're looking for something to dream about, something to look forward to. So if a teacher can show that the content that they're teaching is a path towards a different possibility for their future, they tune right in. We're teaching kids to be able to remember what they learned. They're putting it on paper to rhyme. They're trying to make connections where connections didn't exist before. They're developing a curiosity for the subject matter. And then they're learning that the only assessment for knowledge is not just some stupid test. We have to write everything down, but you have to go out there and present the information. Just like scientists go out today and present their information to their colleagues and peers when they're at conferences.
The thing about water is that it changes like a person from the color to the taste, but the water is never perfect. Seeping through the layers like you're moving through a crowded train. Hard to find the purity of water in the acid rain.
Teaching essentially is about, meeting the person who you want to share information with on their own cultural turf. Where is that they're embedded? What are the examples that mean something to them? And the educator has to be able to enter the learner's mind and be aware of how they view the world.
Okay, my friend. I think we could close this conference with some ideas of active learning as a great excuse to have fun inside the classroom, invite music, good food, share with others, open ourselves to understand the world, and to change a bit our role of a passive students to a solvers, because we believe that we need more solvers, and we need more brilliant minds connect with the global challenges we have. So thank you, my friend, for inviting me. We have another really important guest here.
Yes. So before we get to Augusto, really looking forward to it. But before that, I just want to tell you, Alejandro, that this is very illustrative. This is definitely a very good. It's just a small portion of what's going on around the world with how that the shift in education is creating a new paradigm, like really a new paradigm, a new way to view education and to understand how people learn, and what is knowledge for. Because before that, like, knowledge was just like a very strange element that we didn't know what was going to happen in the future with knowledge. But we're trying to the humanity is getting to understand how we can use, or how we should use education, information, knowledge, memorization, and also facing challenges, understanding the world, understanding different cultures, communicating, collaborating, and many different elements that are now important in the classroom. I just wanted to mention that there are some interesting comments in our comment section. Mari Mambwe says, for example, despite the challenges that come with the paradigm shift in technological advancement, it helps in developing learners who readily appreciate the culture of learning, relearning, and unlearning. The concept of unlearning it will be crazy 20 years ago, but now we are talking about unlearning. What do you think, Alejandro?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. Sometimes it's really hard to learn new things, but even harder unlearn that, because when it's part of our behavior, when it's part of our custom, and we realize that it's a bad custom or a bad behavior, change it is really hard. So yeah, it's one of the most important things in this new paradigm.
And finally, Grace Kinyan Yui says, linking STEM with music is a true game changer. It is, definitely. We don't want to
I hope you enjoy the hip hop, man. I don't know. I love the music. Like, in general, hip hop is really good. But I love the definition of hip hop that gave us Chris Emden, like a pedagogy in motion. That's a beautiful definition of active learning. Pedagogy in motion.
Yeah, that's a good way to just finish with that part. Nice. Okay, thank you very much for your comments. Remember, keep them coming. We really want to know and to learn from you. I know there's a lot of people that are going to be watching this after, not live, but afterwards. So we also welcome your comments. We always come back to the videos and see what people are saying. But now it's time to introduce our new guest, special guest, Augusto. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Happy and glad to be here with you, sharing this little space. And connecting with you is amazing because I am from Colombia. I live in Germany. I am an actor and a dancer. I become here a choreographer. I become here a teacher, but I didn't study to be a teacher. I'm not a pedagogue, and I am working with kids in schools here in Germany, in Bremen, and I'm directing a young project for young people. The name is The Young Artist. And it's very interesting. In the little frame, I saw what you here about education. I connect really with many of these topics because I believe education it has to change the way it is, and there should be create new ways to educate people, and that's why I'm here. Also, in the year 2016, I started to look for a project, international project between Colombia and Germany. Their name is Constructores. Sorry, my English is not very good, so I try. My German is better.
Okay.
So I started to look for a partner in Colombia. Also here in Germany, I wanted to do a project between schools, like they can cooperate together. And the theme was climate, nature. But here it was very difficult to find a school to cooperate. So I went to Colombia with a partner, but I decided to make this project with the group I'm leading. So when I went to Colombia, I was looking for a director from school who wants to be a partner because it's very important. And I found a director from school in Colombia who wants to do a project with me. We did already 220 last year, like 2022. We start with the Constructores project, and now we are searching for a partner in the African continent to do the same. And we are going to be 3 countries: Colombia, Germany, and
Who knows? Maybe Ghana, maybe Kenya, maybe
hopefully, we don't know.
Nigeria.
We are looking for a partner who wants also to how do I say it? I start to thinking in Spanish and German at the same time. So
We could help you if you want. We could help you.
to cooperate with us in the project, to be a partner, and it's very important. The theme we are working on is one of the SDGs from the UN Convention Agenda 2030, sorry. And we have the number 15, living on Earth.
Oh, looks like we lost Augusto. Well, just to Augusto's back. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Where I was. So we are looking
for the SDG.
SDG number 15, life on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting project because we also share time with ancestral communities, indigenous communities from the countries we are visiting. For example, we don't have indigenous communities, of course, but we try to look for new technologies, green technologies, to connect that with Colombia. In Colombia, we have visiting some communities like the Arhuacos in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk to them. We start to get knowledge from them, and it's very interesting to connect young people to this ancient knowledge. We don't even know how they relate to the earth, because it's for this project, it's very important also to empower young people to address this new situation we have with the climate. And well, I can tell a lot of things because the project is very complex.
Mm-hmm.
We also, one part of the project is also like the families from the participants. They have to receive participants from other countries. Also, it's a really intercultural exchange. Well, it's a lot things to talk about it. And it's not very good to talk that in English because I start to miss words, missing
Oh,
words.
It was very good.
I have a question. I have a question.
Go
Sorry,
ahead. Yes.
Luis. Augusto. So to summarize, your invitation is we have a big community from teachers from as you can so from
Yeah.
Ghana, from Nigeria, from Zambia, different countries. Your invitation is one of them could be part of your team of this triangle: Germany, Colombia, and someplace in Africa,
Yes.
to work with students and in exchanging program. And the program is based on music, dancing, theater,
Exactly.
acting, but also connect with SDGs in order to be sustainable and to work to help the planet.
Yeah.
To
Exactly.
so you that's why you visit ancient and indigenous communities to use their knowledge in this
Yeah.
purpose. That's the invitation that you mentioned.
Yes, to share this and to see, to empower young people to see what can we do with this knowledge, and to combine it with the knowledge we have in our societies in
That,
this
that's an
change.
incredible invitation, my friend. I'm really proud to have you here because I believe that our community in Africa will enjoy a lot this opportunity. Where we can find you. So, for example, if I want to say, okay, yes, I want my school there, you can send us a link.
I can
Or
send you a link right now or my email. So like I wrote it here, or should I? Or you can find an Instagram like Leandra understrich Harapi. You can
Feel
find,
free, also feel free to write anything on the
okay,
comment
any
section.
information, please.
We also have a community in Telegram with more than 140 teachers from different countries in Africa. We can also share that information
okay,
in the group.
okay,
So we just wanted to close this first series of workshops with an invitation, like a real invitation to collaborate, to make this to take it to the next level. And Augusto was the person who helped us bringing out this opportunity to combine interculturality from three very different places around the world. One in kind of northern Europe, uh, the other one in Latin America, and the other one somewhere in Africa with a person that is connected to the arts, to dancing, to the music, and to theater, and also to learning about the whole three regions, the three different parts of the world, their beliefs, their ways to connect to society and to the earth. So that's definitely a very interesting invitation.
yep, thank you.
How
If
do
you
we
need
find you? I
information,
mean,
you can. Sorry.
the first comment here from Precious 1236 said, "How do we find you?" So, man, yeah. So the first connection, something that we really enjoy here in TOMi is connect people again, connect
Mm,
teachers. We believe that we must create bonds between our continents, our countries, cities, and communities.
it's our website also. You can find information there also about what we are doing, because we are working with a professional dance company, and I am leading the young people. They don't have to be professional, but the main thing about this my projects is to bring young people on stage and to give this possibility to learn different things, or in a different way, like in the with the hip hop, like we say. But those are people, young people, who wants to be on stage and want to do something. They don't have to be great dancers. They don't have to be great actors. They don't have to be great singers. They just want to be on stage and to learn and to be together and learning things together and to see the world in another way, in a different way. So in Constructores is also this kind of way.
That's incredible. Luis, I'm really happy. I'm really happy to close this workshop with this invitation, because if you can notice, this is constructores, builders in English,
Yes.
is a kind of solver approach that we are sharing with our teachers in this active learning paradigm. This is a great connection between arts, SDGs, and obviously the educational system, in intercultural, in a global platform.
Yeah, for the ones that do not know the acronym SDG, or the concept is Sustainable Development Goals, which is, I would say, like a paper that has been developed by global institutions that is accepted in many different areas in the world. One of them is education, because it brings about some interesting ways to understand what should we aim education to, like what is the north, what is the horizon better of education, of society in general, of social studies, social sciences, and definitely it also connects to the collaboration concept. And here we're talking about intercultural collaboration. TOMi is about intercultural collaboration. TOMi is about education and paradigm shift. And these are basically examples, experiences, meaningful experiences around the world that are already happening. So we want you to be part of them. We want you to learn from them. And we want you to be able to recognize these things that you like from your culture and give it to the world.
Totally. I must say the last thing, Luis. I'm sorry. I know we are late, but TOMi Digital, and for you too, August, we will launch a TOMi Award for the next year. So we will share with you the details, the criteria of this initiative, because we want to have one or two teachers from Africa, from Europe, from Asia, here in Medellin, Colombia,
Oh, cool.
working with us in a 1 week event. We will launch the TOMi 8, the last version of our device, but with an interesting agenda, connecting with other teachers here in Colombia and other teachers from Guatemala, from Argentina. So the price is to have the whole the tickets and accommodation here with us at the first week of March. The idea is to have you here and to the launch event. So I hope the next time in the masterclass we could give more details about the TOMi Award. And please share with your contacts, share with your friends, teachers' friends, this opportunity. The first one to collaborate with August in this STEP text initiative, the Builders, the Constructores initiative. And the second one is the TOMi Award next March, 2nd of March in 2024, here in Medellin, Colombia.
Yeah.
From this moment, we want you, Augusto, to please share with us everything that happens with this contact.
Okay.
We want to know about it. We want to know how it ended up, and want to also be responsible for a successful experience for those who accept the invitation. And I also want to extend Alejandro's invitation to continue to get connected. Do not lose connection with us, because this is going to continue. This is just the first series, which was a very successful one. We have had workshops with more than 1,000 viewers, and that is more than 1,000 teachers in Africa coming here and seeing what we have prepared for you. So we know that there's a lot of interest from your part there in learning and connecting to us, and we are going to continue making efforts and bringing innovation to education from all means possible. For the moment, this is it. Thank you very much, Augusto, for accepting our invitation.
Thanks to you guys. Thanks to you, to the community from TOMi.
was my friend.
All right.
I also from Medellin, you know.
Yeah, someone told me that you're from here. Yeah, you're Paisa
Very
too.
nice. I'm
All
very
right.
nice. I'm happy to be
Okay.
here. Thank you.
Okay, guys.
All right. Thank you also, Alejandro, for your presentation and for your information. It was a very good way to finish up with this series of workshops. And finally, to all teachers who have been here with us, I have your names in my mind. You are not going to be forgotten. Please do not get disconnected. Please keep connected to our Facebook page, TOMi Interactive Lessons, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, TOMi Interactive Lessons, which is the English bit of our organization. Very soon, sooner than you think, we're going to be promoting our next strategy, and it's going to come with very, very, very interesting topics, deeper elements to talk about education. Also, we're going to be contacting some of you that are already using our platform because we want you to be ambassadors of our brand in Africa, and there are some special offers and some prizes and some interesting news for you. So I'll be in touch. Please join our Telegram community, because there we can actually talk more directly. So you can ask questions to us directly there, and we can just learn from each other. Okay, so that was pretty much it. Alejandro, if you have some final words, please go ahead.
Just say thank you very much, and really appreciate this invitation. I hope the teachers connect with ideas, and see you in the next master class. Who knows what happened next.
See you in our master class. So I'm Luis Enrique Vanegas, Alejandro Roldan, and our guest Augusto. We appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us. Remember to turn on the notification bell